from its foundation on to our day under the roof of AK Party, all those who served as mayors of greater municipalities, districts, are the valuable figures we are here with, and I would like to in particular express how pleased I am to be here with you. May our togetherness, our unison, our fraternity last forever. You have won hearts and contributed much to our cause from our foundation on. In your service, with all the works and services, you had your names written in history. As Mevlana Rumi said, a person who progresses will only produce work, and those who don't will yet but perish. You, with your great work, have all achieved as wise, much enlightened, progressed people, and you have left your traces. And I would like to, for that, extend my gratitude to each and every one of you, personally and on behalf of my nation. We will continue with our togetherness all the time, and in the afterworld, as our Prophet, peace be upon him, standard, which befits his name, we will yet again come together. And of course, this great picture ahead of us did not emerge all of a sudden and that quite easily. With some of my brothers and sisters here, we spent 40 years, and with some we spent half a century. Even with the newest, we left 10, 15 years behind in our fight for our cause. Many political achievements and joy of election victory were what we had together. We shared the happiness of many great investments we made for our country, again together. Many prayers and the peace that those prayers gave to us was what we witnessed together. We overcame many handicaps together. We endured many attacks that took different forms. We again upset many traps laid in front of us, traps that even the devil would not think of. Offices, positions, titles are temporary. However, such truth that makes one proud will only stay with us and last. Let alone our country, very few leaders, very few administrators have had the chance to reach out to such loyal, such high number and high quality circles of friends and colleagues. I pray to God and I am grateful for He has blessed me with the chance of working with colleagues, with friends like you. Distinguished brothers and sisters, AK Party has proven itself to our nation with all municipality services, is the product of an ambitious circle, and it appeared by being a candidate for the government of the country. We first developed our countries, changed our countries, and then we changed all. And with 81 provinces and more than 85 million people, we started the transformation, and the development revolution of AK Party is the biggest movement of the Republican history. In the past, the late Menderes and the late Özal started reforms, and it has been our chance to make more of that come Rio. As we always reiterate, those who founded AK Party, who made it to come to power, and who stood with it sound and safe in all the struggles we had to endure, was our nation. With November 2002 November elections, the great democracy and development movement started, and with the 2004 local elections and inclusion of municipalities, a new page started. Local development is starting, it was the slogan we had in 2004 local elections, and we then won 1,750 chairs of municipalities in 14 of the 16 provinces. And also in the 2019 local elections, 50% of the greater municipalities and 55% of the other provinces also were what we claimed victory, and we showed our superiority. And of course, two great cities of our country I would like to underline, cities as Istanbul and Ankara, was what we felt upset because of loss of those two cities. I'm not saying that we lost the elections. I'm saying we lost the mayorship because we won the elections in both Ankara and Istanbul. Dear friends, we have to explain this well. When we talk about municipality, it's not only about the mayor of the municipality, it's about the assembly. You cannot put the assembly, the municipal assembly aside. If you are strong with the assembly, then your power in the municipality will be different. The elections in those cities, not because our ratios of votes fell, but because all our competitors united against us. And this is a reality. However, despite that, by taking into account all what we had lost, we are determined to compensate for what we lost. The first chance, and our nation also sees that truth and makes the due evaluation. As a matter of fact, Çankırı-Dodurga elections that took place last week is an indicator of the knowledge, of the wisdom of Anatolian people, and made its spot in history. In this election, all opposition parties only could receive 146 votes. However, AK Party and People's Alliance claimed 87% of the votes, with 995 votes cast in total, and won the election by a major difference. We would like to thank, once again, I would like to thank to our brothers and sisters from Dodurga. Of course, such an election result is not the only indicator to measure elections, but it is a crucial, a significant indicator at the end of the day. And if the otherwise was the case, you know that the opposition party would make an uproar about themselves. But when it is the case for AK Party's favor, you can all see that how they bury their heads into the sand. And in many other areas and matters as well, wisdom and true mind was put aside by some. However, blind and blind ideals were put to foreground. those who felt sad because we would claim good for ourselves. And also those who feel happy in case of a problem. Such a group appeared. This group of people who would only feel happy if Turkey had a predicament come her way can only be known with their service to imperialists as butlers. And we will not leave this country to the butlers of those imperialists who would only think evil for our country. My dear brothers and sisters, as you know, in 2023 June, Turkey will be preparing for one of its most important elections. If we start with the municipalities, over the past 30 years, we have been a movement that has made its trademark, and we know the meaning of this election the most. With tutelage circles, terror groups, political and economic hitmen, we struggled, and the position we have arrived in by way of fighting all these will not only be important for us, but for the future of our country. Every day of our political life was spent with a great struggle to ensure that the national will has prevailed. Likewise, from municipalities to the government, in all areas we assumed responsibility. We addressed all the problems of our country and worked day and night to compensate for what was lost in the future and what made our country regress. The democratic standards of our country, the work and infrastructure of our country, thanks be to God, are at a level that can level with the developed countries. There are those who have eyes but who do not want to see, ears but who do not want to hear, tongues but who do not want to speak. But all those even show everything clearly in a way that they even can't deny. In the past, political instability and economic regression were used by some to make our country progress democratically, and we, with a decisive fight, took all their tools from their hands. And now we have a country that can take decisive steps ahead with her own decisions by coming up with all the priorities set, from education to health, from transportation to urbanization and social assistance. In all areas, with a strong infrastructure, now we have a Turkey that has locked, if you will, on her targets, and we have you all. The global financial crisis, the global health crisis, Ukraine-Russia war, like great tests in the world, make the power Turkey has more meaningful and more valuable. Among the top most developed countries of the world, our country is closest to be than ever. Of course, we have our challenges, our pain, and some pain, and we have some prices we paid. In particular, in the economy, we are aware that the excessive price increases make our people feel under the pressure. But we endured a great attack in a threat against our economy in 2018, and we made a historic decision. Not through financial illusions, we made our choice for financial instruments for the good of our nation. And with this understanding, from the minimum wages to the pensions, all income levels of fixed income people have been increased, and with this we try to lighten the burden. With a law passed last week, we have also made an improvement in the salaries of mayors, and I hope that this will be auspicious for everyone. My dear brothers and sisters, the fact that the world is at the threshold of a recession
ve cari fazla yoluyla büyütme esasına dayanan Türkiye ekonomi programımızın ne kadar isabetli
shows how much to the point that our economy program based on employment production, export, investment, and current account surplus is. And maybe the inflation rates have increased. However, we have not left anyone unattended and hungry. And with the forthcoming months, we will have taken inflation under control and go on our path ahead. With no doubt, economy is an important denominator for the political preferences of people, but it never is the only denominator. We, day and night, will explain our people those three following issues. The first being from where we took our country and to where we brought it over the past 20 years. The democratic and economic gainings we have had in our country will be compared as to the past, and we need to keep all memories in our people's minds vivid. Secondly, we will explain where we want to take our country with this infrastructure. Politically and economically, the world is being structured in this period, and in such a period we have brought Turkey to the place that it has always deserved, and we could only do that. Thirdly, the group, the circles standing against us, we will explain how they can harm the future of our country, the cost of the coalition governments, and also the heavy, painful prices that many countries that lack the political stability. These are all clear to see, and you must have followed the latest NATO summit. At the NATO summit, you watched, you followed with whom we talked and with whom and what we talked. You must have followed. With all that, tens of thousands of PKK, YPG, PYD, FETÖ terrorists are waiting by our borders and making preparations heinously for attacks, while some, on the other hand, are in line to have some pictures taken with the FETÖist traitors. And we are going through a very critical period, while some do have some expectations when the war in Ukraine is ongoing. And now they ask, my dear brothers and sisters, the main opposition or their baby opposition. Now I do call on you all. PKK is now in the official documents of NATO. YPG, PYD as well. And more importantly, FETÖ as a terror group has now been in the official documents and the registration of NATO. So far, PKK was only in the European Union official documents. However, now, not only that, but with it, PYD, YPG, and FETÖ. These all now, by way of being added to the NATO official documents, have now been added. to the documents. And how was that possible, Mr. President? You might ask, with the Secretary General of NATO and all the Prime Minister, to the Prime Minister and the President of the two countries, we said these are our red lines. FETÖ, PYD, and YPG, we said, should be added to those documents. Otherwise, we would not sign this. And they felt the need to accept it. And now this is in the documents of NATO. And now it is of no meaning to speak this way or the other in Turkey. You cannot deceive anyone. And now you can go to the records of NATO and you will see all those in NATO's records. Everything is clear as daylight. And in 3 minutes at the NATO summit, on the screens,
İsveç'te nasıl? Finlandiya'da nasıl? Hollanda'da nasıl? Almanya'da nasıl?
We saw how they are to be in Sweden, in Finland, in the Netherlands, in Germany. And we showed it to all the leaders of all those countries at the NATO summit on the screens how those terror groups were looming large in many countries and running rampant. But there's nothing hidden now, nothing invisible. Everything is very clear. Any kind of weakness in that will be bearing consequences. And we, without making any compromises, it is a must for us to win the victory in the 2023 elections, and with us for the future of our children and their children. We have to also succeed in this test. We made many accounts for that, and 2023 elections before all has special meaning, sensitivity, significance for us. This is not an election in which we can act with anger or offense or whatsoever. My dear brothers and sisters, this great community has to love one another with the understanding that we love the created. Thanks to the Creator, we will not feel any feelings of any emotions of offense for one another, but we will only love one another with our economic dimension, with our infrastructure of great work and our projects and great work. We are in a very peculiar, in a very special place. In other words, we now have much to lose. In the past, the only treasure we had to lose was our time. And the price we had to pay in the past was the freedom and our hope for welfare, which we did not have. But now, in 2023, in case of a wrong choice, we might lose our position in the highest league of the world and our opportunity to become one of the driving engines of this great league of the globe. We will jeopardize all those if we make a choice otherwise. And we have to explain the truth to everyone, each and every citizen of our country, so that a possible accident will not be given way in 2023 election. Everywhere we speak of truth, love, and closeness, We see the opposition with its delusion, manipulation, lies, and hypocrisy. We should not forget that they will try their best to poison our people, starting with where you live, from your apartments, your houses, your neighborhoods, districts, at marketplaces, and in many other places, everywhere, in buses and public transportation. Everywhere you are, you will be representing our cause, and I want you to own up to our cause and not leave a single heart that is not one. May God be with us and help us. May God make our unity, our togetherness, our fraternity, and our effort grow bigger and bigger. I once again would like to share my love and respect with each and every one of you. Thank you very much. Stay in health.
Sayın Recep Tayyip Erdoğan'a şükranlarımızı ve saygılarımızı sunuyoruz. Efendim gün anısına bir hediye takdimimiz var. Gün anısına hediyelerini arz etmek üzere bir kez daha yerel yönetimlerden sorumlu AK Parti Genel Başkan Yardımcısı Sayın Mehmet Özsasaki'yi sahneye davet ediyoruz. Buyursunlar lütfen. Efendim bizler de hediyenin hemen muhtevasından bahsedelim. Bu hediyemiz Kisve-i Şerif Kabe örtüsü tablo halinde yerel yönetimler başkanımız tarafından Sayın Cumhurbaşkanımıza arz ediliyor. Çok teşekkür ediyoruz.